Hello, everyone, and welcome to our question and answer session with Amanda J. Evans. Amanda, I am thrilled to be here. I'm Sharon Thompson and I'm an author, and I'm really looking forward to asking you lots of questions that people sent in all about your new novel planning journal. Now, just to give everyone a little introduction about Amanda, Amanda is an award-winning author. You can see all of her lovely books behind her there. And she is also a writing coach and mentor. So there's lots of experience and knowledge behind this novel planning journal. And I know we have some people in the chat here with us today who are probably going to ask some questions. And I'd just like to thank everyone who sent in their questions in advance. And we've tried to condense them as best we can because there were so many. Because this journal is much needed by us writers. And I may pop off the camera and leave the platform to Amanda, but in the meantime, I'm going to batter on with these questions, Amanda, and ask you, why write a novel planner?
Thanks, Sharon, and thanks for agreeing to host this interview. Why write the novel planner? As I say, I do some coaching and mentoring. So a lot of the people I coach and mentor are beginning writers. And I get a lot of questions, a lot of emails, etc. about how do I write a book and, how do I start? Or somebody is, I've started writing a book and I have 9,000 words done and I'm stuck, or I have writer's block, or I don't know what to do next. I watched a talk and somebody was talking about point of view and passive voice and they're beginner questions that people aren't familiar with. And, through answering them for about, maybe 2 years or so now, I was sitting one morning and I was doing bits and pieces and this idea came into my head and it was a novel planning journal. And
Can we
I
see
sat
it?
with it.
Can we see it in your hands there?
This is it here. This is the paperback.
Lovely.
So I'm giving you a quick squeeze inside. Now, doubt I'll open it and so there is information, but there is pages to write in. But I sat with the idea because it came out of nowhere and I was kind of going, And the more I thought about it, and I thought, right, well, there are loads of websites and loads of things you can download and templates that will tell you how to outline a novel. But there aren't very many that will tell you how to plan it, going through all the different aspects, So I sat and I kind of jotted down some notes on what I, as a writer, would like to see included in something like that. And, I wanted to make it accessible to all writers. So those who maybe chose to self-publish or those who want to go and look for an agent and publisher, etc. So I've kind of combined both. So you will find information on how to do your synopsis, which is a dread for many of us, how to do your blurb, a pitch, 1-sentence pitch. I mean, so many people don't even know what that is. And Google is great. I love Google. All the information you need, you can find, but not everybody has the research skills or even knows what they're looking for. So, that's where the idea came from. And I played around with it and I thought, yeah, but I didn't want just a guidebook. I didn't want to just write a guide. I wanted something that was useful. And when I, reflected on my own writing, I thought, what's the things that really get to me that, I could improve on? And one of them was keeping all my notes in one place, or when you're writing, if you have notes, it's a distraction if you've to open another file and go search for something and then, trying to find scraps of paper that you've scribbled on, it never works. So that's where the idea of making it a journal as well came into play, because I thought it's small enough you could carry it in your handbag, but it's also perfect to have on the desk beside you, and you can open up whatever section. I'm always forgetting people's hair color.
Mm.
So in the character section, I would have that written down and I could say, yeah. Or maybe you forget a secondary character or the name of something, and you can literally open the book beside you and the information is there. So does that
Brilliant.
answer your?
So it does answer it really well. So this is like, I know we have some questions here that I want to stick to because I could ask you questions all day, my own ones. But so someone has asked here, so this is a step-by-step process that will help someone write a novel, any novel.
Yes, yes, any fiction novel, because as you know yourself, memoir and nonfiction are different
Different.
in their planning stages and setup. So future books coming, the
Yeah.
series, it is a series. But yes, it will take you step, and there are sections you can ignore if you don't want to, read about traditional publishing. If you don't want to do your synopsis because you're going to self-publish, you'll concentrate on the blurb. And then it will guide you through characters, setting, plot, the actual structure of a book. It'll bring you through all the different things, what needs to go in each chapter, what percentage certain twists and different things have to take place. It's all broken down, and there's questions to answer to help you with it. And then you have a complete section of journal pages for up to 40 chapters. So when you get to the end of it, you can bullet point, you can jot ideas, or you can fully make extensive notes on your chapters. When you get to the end of this, you are now ready to sit and type your first draft.
Wow.
Everything is in this book for you. You will have, your
I
characters, you'll
love,
know them.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I loved you showed me like just inside it before we came on air. And one of the things was there was like a little section for where you can stick in pictures and things as well, which I thought was really good. So you can
in
stick in a
in the
picture of your,
Yes, I have that in the character section and in the setting, because you know yourself, your setting could be a town, or it could be a house. Maybe you want to put in floor plans or a picture of a cottage, and some people,
little doodles and drawings of
yes,
things.
draw them if you want. There's lots of examples for different things in there, but I know there was one example, like you might be, writing away and you have your character and they live in a third floor apartment, and then halfway through the novel you realize, actually, I need them to live in a cottage. So the planning, if done prior to writing, actually that wouldn't happen to you.
Yeah,
Um, your setting, maybe you've put them in a little small town and then realize, actually, I need them in the city when you're halfway through the book. So by following the journal, you get rid of and eliminate a lot of those little problems, because
yeah,
there's nothing worse than writing and getting stuck and then going, oh,
yeah.
because you're
Writing
deflected and imposter syndrome sets in then, and I'm not good enough and I can't do this. And it's why a lot of beginning writers as well might not, they don't realize how much goes into writing a full novel. 90,000 words is a lot. It does take a long time. And yes, you'll see these things of write a book in 30 days. Happy days. Just
yeah,
be prepared for lots of rewrites and more drafts. And that's
yeah,
also people that are saying, they're writing 10,000 words a day or whatever. They are just writing all day. They're possibly not doing anything else. So if you are a mom, a dad, you work, you go to college, you've different things, on average, you, as a good typer, will type maybe 1,000 words an hour. But the brain
yeah.
needs a break as well, and
I
so
think
just
the novel planning journal is great because, again, as you were saying there, people have other lives. So if you have to come and go to it, you're thinking, what did I say he was? What's the surname of that secondary character? Things like that. Like you just flick in your journal. Now, I'm not a plotter, and I know we've discussed this, that it's suitable for people who like to be meticulous in their plotting beforehand, and then some people just like to write and see where it takes you. But the journal will be good because you can take little bullet points and notes, isn't that right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's both.
yeah. So you're saying you're a pantser, which again is what I am. So essentially, what that means is we don't plan meticulously our stories. We allow the characters to tell them, and it's for me, it's fun, it's exciting. I love when things happen that you just had no idea were going to happen, and it's just like, oh, wow, and that's yeah. So as I am one of those, you know, you're probably thinking, why would you write a novel planning journal and you don't plan?
No, because
Everybody plans to a certain, you know, you have to.
but
You
as the
have to
character
plan your
reveals
character.
it, you can put it into the journal. That was what I liked.
Yes,
As the
yes,
character
you
tells
can.
you something, you go, oh, right, okay, taking note of that.
Exactly.
And I'm a historical writer, like I write historical fiction, and I could spend hours down rabbit holes researching things like light bulbs or door handles or costumes. And that's
Hmm.
where this would be great, because rather than flicking through all of the research that I've done, you could put it in the planner. So
Yeah.
this is definitely her dress. This is how she would
You can
look.
put a picture. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
I think it'd be
yeah.
fabulous. Because then I spent, where did I see that now? What was she? Maybe they don't wear their hair like that in this period. Maybe I should go check that again. Whereas if it's sitting in the journal, I've already it done. I've put it in there. I know. I'm not
Exactly.
flicking through files looking for it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that can be a big problem because when you have to stop writing
yeah,
to go and
it's
look for
uh,
something, it ruins your train of thought. And also how I am using I'm actually writing a new book at the moment, and I'm thinking it might be part of a series, but I'm using the journal. I've been using it for characters, but what I'm also doing is I find um, little ideas will pop in or little scenes while I'm, when you're having a cup of tea or something, and I find scenes will play out in my mind. And rather than just, oh yeah, I've actually been grabbing the book and putting the little notes down because I know when I come to go back and say, I had a great idea for that, and I'll have forgotten it. So I am actually picking it up. I have a few copies here that I'm hoarding because my idea, because when you get to the end of this, your entire book is in here. Now, if you're anything like me, Sharon, I have a shelf full of
notebook.
journals, notebooks, that because I handwrite my first drafts. So I have shelves of notebooks that contain my book. And I just thought, wouldn't it be nice to have one of these for each book beside me as well? And the very first page in this, I think it's the very first page, isn't it? It's just after the introduction. It says, my novel's title. And I can put, so if I were say this was for Save Her Soul, which is there behind me, I have it written there. And everything I need to know about Kate and Drake is written in this. So if I ever did, because people do say, would you ever do a follow up to that book? If I ever did, I would just have had to pick this up because all my characters are in there. Now, unfortunately, I haven't done that. But for
Yeah,
future planning, it's going to be amazing to have that. And you can have a blank journal beside you and use this solely as a guidebook because
yeah,
it's not just journal pages. It is has, all the information you need, and then there's a section on publishers, agents,
yeah.
you
A
name it.
question here is there practical advice on publishing? And the answer is most definitely yes. Like, you have written extensively for Ireland's leading writing website, writing.ie, for months and years, and you have
I Yeah,
umpteen links and knowledge about all the steps towards publishing. So it's all in the journal, really, isn't it?
it is, yeah, because
Yeah,
there is a complete section on when you submit to agents and publishers, and there is a 5-step process that you have to get 5 ticks on your pages that you send in order for them to request the full manuscript. So that's covered. So, I mean, you can, if you're getting ready to submit, you can have a read through that and say, oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, and fix and tweak.
I think as well, Amanda, I think it's important to say here that some people have asked, is this beginner friendly? And it most definitely is. I mean, you break
Yes.
everything down into as you're a writer yourself, and you're very aware of being there at the beginning and starting out and breaking everything down into, I won't say simplistic terms, because there's a vast amount of knowledge in the book, but you're not reading reams and reams and reams of material.
No, no,
You set out.
it's actually, it's
Sorry.
very user friendly. There's simple questions. Even if I can open a page here to get a simple question, you know, even if you're looking at um, setting, or your character's belief system, it's detailed there why the belief system is important, along with an example, and I've examples from the likes of the Hunger Games, and why Katniss's character and her strengths and flaws and how they all combined, and how it, there's a section about the journal itself takes the idea that you're writing a standalone, but there is an explanation of how to do it if you're writing a series, and how each book must stand alone but have the overall storyline. And the example of Harry Potter is given in there and explained on how all 7 books combine for the overall plot. So that is included as well. I don't know, you could keep going.
Oh yeah,
there's
like
so much
you're
in it.
not. Yeah, you don't want to tell everyone everything that's in it either, because it's an exploration and it's a process, and you have to.
Yeah,
It's vast. So this is why the journal is so important, because again, you can, as you said, Google, spend hours researching, how do I write a synopsis? How do I write a blurb? How do I start? Where do I begin? The importance of first chapters, all of that kind of stuff is in the
yeah.
journal. Yeah.
Yeah, and the actual structure of the book is included as well, and broken down, and the different percentages where you need to have specific things, along with how to use beats and how to break your chapters into a certain number of scenes and how many scenes works best. And yeah, it's all in there. I didn't want it just to be for beginning writers, because I also think it's really helpful for any writer,
Yeah.
but those who maybe are saying, oh, I'd love to learn about planning, or I'd love to
Yeah.
try outlining a novel. It's there and you can try it. I have tried it. Uh, Really in-depth outlines don't actually work for me, but I have found that as you progress, you are starting to make notes, and you are starting to spend more time, building your characters, building your setting, building everything, to prevent those 20 drafts that you have to write. I know I'm going to probably spend a little bit more time prior to writing now than I used to before, because after doing researching and everything, I'm kind of going, oh, I never thought about that, or I didn't realize the importance of, planning that. And of course, it depends on the genre you're writing. There are specifics for every genre. So if you're writing crime, the most important thing for crime is your body is in chapter 1. If it's not, the agent or publisher is just going to, there are expectations for every genre. There's an expectation for romance of a happy ever after, and if you don't give your readers the happy ever after, they're not reading your next book. I think most use I'm going to get out of that is if I am going to write a series where I need my information on hand. It's going to be brilliant, because I don't have to try to remember or reread the book 20, 30 times
Yeah.
before I start book 2, because we all have a break between books. And as you say, if I took Save Her Soul, for example, because people keep asking me for a sequel, I don't remember, because I didn't keep all my notes and everything, and I probably didn't make notes. It was only my second novel, so there isn't I would have to go back and read it and take extensive notes while reading it to make sure I don't contradict myself writing a sequel.
I suppose we better tell everyone where they can purchase this book. We forgot about that, which is very important. It's on your website, which is amandajevans.com.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I right?
I've actually it's actually exclusive to my website at the moment.
Oh,
Um, the
thank
reason being,
you.
I haven't actually, Amazon is great. I have no problems with Amazon, but since Brexit, you can't.
Yes,
I couldn't seem to
yes,
get a proof copy, and there was no way was I going to offer a product without being able to see it, physically see it. And I really wanted to do a hardback as well. Amazon now have that available. It released last week. You can do your hardbacks. But again, I actually wanted to physically have a product, and so
and to do it, and to do it.
I spoke with I spoke with a few industry people, and they said, just do a special pre-order or a special thing through your own website, and you can do your own nice packaging. And I have gorgeous packaging to go, and it really make the product special.
Yeah,
And then you can also do signed copies. So I've had loads of people saying, is it going to be an ebook? Now, as it's a combination of guidebook and journal, it doesn't really translate into ebook because you can't print it and you can't write in it. So if it's something that is very much looked for, I will probably just
do
do
the
take
guide.
the all the information and the questions and etc. and all the things you need and remove the journaling aspect. But I'm not sure. I haven't
Yeah.
decided on that. I know a lot of people have asked me that, and it's not something that's been decided upon.
Okay, so that covers my sort of my next questions, which was about your future plans. I know that you sort of alluded there that there would be a series of planning journals. So
Yeah, I am in talks with my wonderful daughter to see how busy she is and how she feels about creating covers for. I a lot of people have asked me, can they use it for nonfiction? They're maybe writing a self-help book or they're writing a memoir, etc. And really, there's a completely different setup when you're writing nonfiction. You're not going to be in-depth character planning and setting planning and plot and all that. So that is in the works when I scrabble some time, because every page of that was actually hand designed. It wasn't a Microsoft Word document. I actually hand design every page in it, and
I know I can
hand designed
imagine
all the lines, etc. And actually, it was
you're
so fun. It was
meticulous.
wonderful.
You are, and
Yeah, perfectionist.
I think people can see how your knowledge and your heart and soul is in this. So it's definitely a good purchase, especially for Christmas. Christmas,
Yes.
like a lovely Christmas present. Um, I just want to be sure that I have asked most of the questions here. I'm flicking madly. That's why I'm looking down. Someone asked a really good question. I've pre-ordered this for my 10-year-old. Will it be too advanced? Is
Yes.
this a children's planner? I
Uh,
suppose is what you mean.
the answer to that is, you know, obviously, if your 10-year-old can read and write, which obviously they can if they're interested in this, it actually can make a great gift that they can work together with. There are some sections in
Right.
that where they will have great fun. I mean, I know this question came from Sean, so Sean can actually sit with his daughter and have fun creating characters, and then planning the setting. They'll also have great fun doing the one-line pitches where they will be
Right.
having to come up with how to tell their story in one sentence, and things like that. It's a real bonding moment as well,
Yeah.
because I know Sean was kind of a little bit worried. Oh no, will she? But yes, she will. She might need a little bit of explanation on some terms. She might not know what passive voice is, or dual narrative, or some of the technical words and phrases we writers would use. But I mean, he can explain everything to her, and I'd say she'll get loads of fun out of it.
brilliant. I'm just going to go off camera for a second because someone wants me here. But I
Yeah, no
will
problem.
ask the next question, which is, would it suit, well, you kind of answered this, would it suit my teen or someone in their early 20s who are starting out? And the answer, I suppose, there, you've answered that one. I have, what is something, now this is a hard question. What is something that you are most proud of about this journal? And while I'm here, who inspires you the most? Because I know that was a question from Facebook. So can I leave you to answer those two questions for 1 wee second?
Yeah, you can. I think what I'm most proud of, actually, I think it's in the actual design and the thought process that went into planning the book. There was a lot of reflection on my writing journey, from writing Finding Forever all the way up, and I thought about what I would have liked to know when I first sat down to write a book, and what information I've gathered over the years that I've found the most useful, and little tips that I've picked up along the way. I also wanted to make it as easy and user friendly as possible, and because I like to handwrite all my first drafts, I just thought combining, it as a journal, and adding in little questions that you can actually write the answer beneath. It just makes the process of learning and more fun. And I think you remember it more if you're sitting down with a pen and a piece of paper and this book, and you're answering the questions about your character, and then you're finding pictures of what you think they'll look like and sticking them in. I think it just brings the fun back into it more so than if it was just a standard guidebook where you were just reading pages and pages and pages of information in it. And I think people might get bogged down in it. Um, Another thing, I have to say, is the cover. I'm so grateful for my daughter. She was very helpful, and she designed the cover, and she helped me with fonts and typography. And as I say, I designed all the pages separately. I didn't type them in a Word document. And the font I originally had, as Emma said herself, Mom, that is dreadful. And she came and she sat with me, and she helped me choose the font. And then I was actually going to go with a white cover on the book. And she said, no, 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 I have ideas. And it's absolutely beautiful. And
It sure
the
is.
other question, the other question was, who inspires me most? I don't think I've got one person. I think, all authors to some extent will inspire me. I love reading everybody's success stories. I love seeing new books being published. I especially love seeing debut authors getting a shot. If I had to pick one that stands out to me, it's, those stories of the people that didn't give up. And I know J.K. Rowling might not be extremely popular with everybody, but I mean, for a writer, she's definitely an aspiration in that, Harry Potter was rejected so many times, but she believed in her story, and she believed in it so much that she just kept going and she kept submitting. And I mean, just look at it now. Who doesn't know Harry Potter? His name is synonymous around the world. She's probably made billions, but she just didn't give up. And I think, that's, if your dream or your goal in life is to be a writer, that's what you do. You write and you keep submitting. If you want traditional publishing, you keep going after it. And I think it's important, if you are doing traditional publishing, that you remember that, rejections are part of it. And yes, they sting and they hurt, and we all think it's about us, but at the end of it, it's actually not. Your book could be absolutely amazing, but that agent or publisher, maybe they have an author that writes like you. Maybe they just signed a book last week that is similar in genre and style to yours, and it's very hard not to take it personally and think, the rejection is about you. It's actually not. The rejection is on the story. and 9 times out of 10 rejections are because of wrong timing. So, keep going, don't give up. If on the other hand you want to self-publish, I mean, the options are there. As say Amazon, you've got Apple, you've got Kobo. You've companies now that are there that'll help with self-publishing, not the vanity publishers that you should avoid. But there are companies where you can pay them to help with your marketing. There are people that you can pay who will actually upload your book to Amazon for you if you don't know how to do that. There are people that will show you how to do ads on Facebook. Marketing is really important, and I actually don't cover that in the book at all. But there's help available for everything.
That's the next one, Amanda. That's the next in the series. There's so much, and I think the fact that it's that when you're finished your journal, you have your first draft. You have everything you need for your first draft of novel, because as you say, there's so much out there, so much information, and it's all in one place in this planning journal. I might just come on again because I think we're almost finished. If anyone has any questions in the chat, please ask. I just want to check our ask a question button here as well. I think we've covered most of the questions quite well, Amanda. You're so knowledgeable.
I might, Sharon, I'll interrupt you. I might mention the special offer that those who have pre-ordered the planner from my website are going to get.
Yes, please.
It's not mentioned anywhere. But everybody who has ordered, they are going to get an email from me when shipping goes out. That's starting on the 13th of November. And in that email, they're also going to get a link to a private Facebook group that I am creating. And this group is just for people who have purchased the novel planning journal. So if they have questions or need help or advice on any of the sections, they can ask me. So that's just exclusively for them. So if the book does happen to go over on Amazon in paperback and hardback, that offer is not available to those people. It is only available to those who have purchased from my website.
Yeah, wow. Well, that's great, because you can buy a book but not necessarily have one-to-one contact with the author or the planner of the planner. So that is an excellent offer. So for people to get their hands on the planner, they go to your website, amandajevans.com.
Yeah.
I'm just going to come back online just to say goodbye. Hopefully I can come back. Yay. And just say thank you, Amanda. I really enjoy talking to you about your planner. And I hope that everyone gets a sense of what it's all about. And if they have any questions, they can probably find you on all of the social media platforms. Do you want to give them your handles or your social media there? I might give them the
Twitter
wrong one.
Is, let me see, Twitter is Amanda J. Evans. My Facebook page is Amanda.
Sorry.
They are all on my website, yeah. I've even braced and joined TikTok. So you'll find me over there too. I have no idea what my handle is, but yeah.
Don't worry.
And I'm on Instagram, and you have to be nowadays.
Yeah. Wow. TikTok. That's good. You're going to have to do a whole section on that for me. I'm not on TikTok. Not yet. I would like to thank you, Lynn, for popping into our VIP session this morning. Thank you, Lynn. And thanks to all the people who sent in such excellent questions and helped us out this morning. And is there anyone you'd like to thank, Amanda? And then we can say bye-bye.
Oh, I have to thank Emma again. I'm always thanking Emma, but her talent is amazing, and of course, obviously, Joe and Connor, and putting up with me and getting orders ready, and seeing the quality of the book and everything else. Oh my God! Excuse me.
Someone's ringing you. You think you're finished? And they're right.
Isn't that awful?
That is
Isn't
so
that
funny.
terrible?
Look, we'll go and we'll tell everyone one last time, amandajevans.com for your wonderful novel planning journal, and you'll be back to tell us more. And once people order, they can contact you on once the orders go out, you'll join them to the Facebook page.
I
If
will,
they wish to be ordered, or if they wish to be included, that's great.
They can,
So
yes.
I think that's everything. We'll say goodbye and thank you.
Bye.
We'll
Thank
chat
you.
to you all soon. Yeah, give us one last look at the novel planning journal there. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks for joining in. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. Can't wait for my copy. And I think once people start to use it, they'll spread the word to Amanda. Everyone will have to have a copy, if not one, many. So thank you very much, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.